You can't obsess over your hair
You weren't
in the
supposed
video
to
the
start
whole
it
time.
yet.
I'm going to hide it.
No, please don't.
Yeah, because I feel like you get distracted. Okay, I'll keep running. Because we're using some new software tonight to make this a little bit easier on Stevan to edit. All right, let's get started, Kelsey. Intro us. Our millions of fans await.
Welcome to another episode of After Bedtime with
Stevan
and Kelsey.
Yeah, I know you guys are glad I'm back.
What do you mean glad you're back?
Well, they come here for me.
You didn't go anywhere.
Well, no, I know, but they've been without us for like 7 days.
Yeah, us.
Without me for 7 days at this point. All right. What are we going to talk about today? You don't even know. You did not prepare.
I would like to point out I brought up these topics.
I did not prepare.
And you don't even have the right...
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I saw Tom Brady and I was like, what?
Well, I added in some of my own topics, but I have to admit I did not prepare the same way.
He was up and ready to cancel it, and I'm like, no. I straightened my hair.
You were spitting out ideas left and right. Well, it's hard. It's like, I don't know. It's like, for some reason,
you make it a big deal. Like, I spit out like 5 of them in like 30 minutes.
It's just like, for some reason, the days right now are just like, they're slipping away very quickly. I've got to get control over them again. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is, remember this thing?
Yeah.
Remember this thing?
I've been writing in it. You have not.
Yes, I have. I've written in this like 2 or 3 times. Okay, for those who...
But I have surpassed you, and you haven't written in it anymore.
Oh, so now it's a competition.
Yeah.
I'm going to crush you. What healthy couples therapy. Okay, so for people that don't know, explain what this is, because we talked about this in an earlier episode, and we've never circled back to it. So update on the Loom Journal.
I was influenced by an influencer that her and her husband write in this journal. It's a couple's journal.
Like Vanna White.
I don't know how you want me to explain it. It's a couple's journal. It gives like, you can write in it whenever you want. I think technically you're supposed to like pick a day. Like your husband picks a day and you pick a day, and then each week you're supposed to write in it.
I don't think so.
We have not done that.
I think that's how you perceive the rules, but there's nowhere on their website where that's stated.
Okay. So you pretty much, it has a prompt on the page for like
going on here.
For like the husband and you told me to talk about this.
Yes, I know.
And now you're the one hyper focused on your face.
Keep going.
They have like a prompt for like each partner on each page to like write something, and it's supposed to be an easier way to like communicate. Sometimes it's not always the easiest to communicate in front of someone's face, especially about harder things. Like, Stevan can contest to this 90% of the time. What, did I say the word wrong?
No, I just look at
90% of the time, whenever we get into arguments, like big arguments, and we have to like
go to your corners.
Yeah, I tend to text afterwards, because I'm not somebody that when I'm like flustered or worked up, like my words just disappear. My brain goes blank. I can't communicate at all. I get frustrated and more angry, and it has nothing to do with him. Is I'm frustrated and angry because I can't communicate my own feelings. And so I brought this journal up to him because I thought it would be a good way to be able to communicate with each other. You give
such a depth of background on things. It's awesome. You basically just recap the history of the journal. It's fantastic.
Are you making fun of me?
No, I just said I applaud your efforts, because I would have been like, it's a couple therapy journal.
Well,
we bought it a few months ago.
If they're coming in, they're going to, like, if they're new on this episode, they're going to be like, I wasn't here for that other episode.
Okay, so I
don't know what they're talking about at all.
Okay, so but the main point of this thing is it's not really replacing couples therapy. Obviously,
No.
you can't. But it's nice because
Does it say there? It says nothing about therapy. It says couples connection journal.
Okay, it doesn't say couples therapy, but essentially that's sort of what it's getting at. It's like it is a prompt. It's a device you can use to try to elicit better words and better communication to your spouse. And like you said, it's really nice because you don't. I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't value in face-to-face communication. Yes. I'm just saying it's nice to be able to sit down and respond to a prompt without having that pressure of like coming up with the right words in the moment at the right time.
Yeah.
There's like writing allows you to like slow down, process your thoughts, put them into a well written sentence, hopefully, and communicate what you're actually wanting to communicate.
I was very anxious to start this though because Stevan is an amazing writer.
No, I'm not.
And I am not at all.
Well, first of all, I disagree.
I can't form my sentences. I can't form my sentences in my head for my mouth to speak it out. Like it's the brain that's the issue. It's not.
Hold on, one sec.
It's not anything else.
I forgot something.
Oh my gosh!
What?
You just left right in the middle. You're disrupting the whole thing.
I'm back. Okay. The shadow was bothering me.
I didn't even notice the shadow.
I noticed it.
You notice it because you're like a camera person.
What are the dogs getting into?
Oh, I ate a bowl of cereal.
And you left the bowl of cereal on the couch?
I left the bowl.
Wow, this is after bedtime for sure.
I don't know what that means.
Well, the kids go to sleep and the parents just is like, their giver shitters just break.
I was relaxing because someone decided to go work out.
Yeah.
Right after bedtime.
Well, there's only so many hours in the day to fit everything in. Babe, you have to stop looking here. You gotta stop looking at your face.
Where am I supposed to look?
Watch, if I hide it, automatically you'll stop looking at it.
Where am I supposed to look?
At me. We're having a conversation.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Okay, so that's the couple therapy update. Good deal there. Highly recommend it. Check it out.
We've only done a couple days.
Yeah.
We haven't really gotten
I
deep into it.
I need to write more. Okay, I have to unhide the video for a second here. Okay, so we are going to start our second segment of In the News. The second week we've done this. Okay, so if you don't know, last week was our first episode where we did something a little bit different. And so this week we're doing the same thing. And so we're going to do a segment called In the News, which is basically us looking at news articles and sort of giving our reaction or our thoughts or spiel against it. It's the same concept as
people are like, because I care.
Yeah, they do. They want to know what we think. Sort of like the Loom Journal. It's a little bit easier to respond to something when you have a prompt. Okay, so the first headline. This is actually pretty applicable to a lot of people. It won't be when you watch this episode, but you'll be able to relate. The first headline reads, "Massive failure. Why are millions in Texas in the dark amid rolling blackouts? Winter weather?" That seems like a very complex lead with a lot of
winter weather,
with a lot of weird punctuation too, like the single quote marks, the use of a colon. They also put a comma in there and ended in a question. I don't know, man. Okay, so essentially the gist of the story, it's kind of the story for anybody that's living in the Midwest right now.
It's the whole Midwest and South.
We are getting slammed by some winter weather. We are included. We got 7 inches of snow
with possible 4 more coming right now.
With a heavy dose of ice soon headed our way.
It's not.
Or not
it's
soon.
It's snow.
With a heavy dose of ice that came before the snow. So we got like a lot of liquid that froze. Then we got we got
a lot of liquid beforehand because it wasn't like raining.
That's not what Doug Hetty says.
Oh my god. Anyways, we got a lot of light fluffy snow, about 7 inches, and then we're supposed to be getting like up to 4 more for our area.
Which really isn't...
I mean, like, our area has been, I mean, for what we have observed, our area has been doing a lot better. Texas just isn't equipped for this kind of weather.
Well, okay,
they're not used to this.
That's kind of like my point, though. Is like for Joplin, though, 7 inches of snow isn't.
So I'm looking the blanket.
Oh my god!
Your head. Sorry.
7 inches of snow in Joplin is not that big of a deal, though. Really, like.
But when was the last time we've had this much all in one turn?
Well, I mean. It's one of those things where...
It's been years since we've had it, but at least we have stuff put in place that can at least semi-handle the situation.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't really get it. Like, I don't know, this is the first, like, going back to this story, this is the first time that I've seen this, like, big of a problem. And maybe I just wasn't paying attention to the news, but, like, this is saying that, like, I forget how many people, 4.5 million customers without power. And I read another article that said some of these people have been without power for like 36 hours.
Well, and some of them are in the rolling blackout, which they're doing an hour on and like an hour off. And one of the chicks that I follow said that like today it was like different. It was like they would get like 15 minutes of power and then they'd be like an hour off.
Wow.
So like
so they're using it in Texas.
But she said it was really weird because like she said 8 minutes away from her is her sister, and her sister hasn't lost power at all. So that doesn't make any sense.
And I guess an issue with part of this is in Texas they're using some combination of wind and coal and gas to provide their energy, I guess. And so some amount of that is contributing to it. I don't know. I guess I more wanted to bring this to the forefront for us to react to, because while it sort of makes sense in Texas, because like to your point, okay, you're not used to having, sub-zero temperatures or very close to zero temperatures. So everyone's like, oh, I'm freezing to death. So they're jacking their heaters up, right? So everyone's drawing on the grid.
They're not used to colder weather really at all. Like, not chilly weather.
It kind of makes sense to me in that area of the world or that part of the country that they may not have the capacity. May not have the energy capacity that they need to deal with this. But like in Joplin, we are experiencing the same thing. Kansas City is experiencing the same thing. I know, but
I looked at the power grid. Like every electrical company keeps talking about this, like Southwest Power Pool is advising all of this.
So like they're all these utilities are interlinked, and they probably barter energy from one another's
So
grid.
like the top half, I don't know what the Texas, like the little square, the top half of that, all the way up to like throughout the middle of the United States is all on the Southwest Power Pool.
If somebody out there knows more about this topic, I would love to hear from you, because I find it fascinating, because this is like a piece of the United States infrastructure that we largely just take for granted. Like it's like our water supply. It's just there, and we expect it to always be there. And it's somewhat very sobering to me that you can that it's not
one bad winter storm can knock it out.
It's like
I just think it's because it's happening to all of those places all at once. It's happening to Texas, it's happening to Oklahoma, it's happening to Arkansas, it's happening to all of these areas that we're not used to that much being hit all at once. So, like, the saving of power to give to
and
the
in
other...
all the different areas, right? Because it's like, if we got hit, well, maybe we could buy excess energy from Texas that they're not currently using.
Well, I'm saying, like, if this power pool is in charge of all these has some attachment on how much power goes out.
And they're just getting slammed from
they're getting slammed from multiple states that are needing more power.
Okay, this next one is on it because I actually had a very visceral reaction to this next story. Okay, so this next story says, Tom Brady disgraced Super Bowl trophy during parade and owes apology, creator's daughter says. Okay, so I read several newspapers.
Wait, the creators of Of the trophy?
Yes. Okay, so I read several articles here, but the gist of this whole situation is that Tom Brady did this when him and Rob Gronkowski were out. Hold on, let me mute it. Where they were basically out partying, having a good old time, and he threw the Lombardi trophy. Okay, so he's on one boat, Rob Gronkowski is on the other boat, and the whole thing is that, you know, it's Tom throwing a pass to Rob, and
But it's not Rob who caught it.
Well, you know,
isn't that Rob?
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same. They were on different boats and they were celebrating, and obviously there was drinking involved. But so now after this video has gone viral.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of frat boys.
Yeah, they're just having a good time. They're just having a good time. Okay, and so now this.
I'm not trying to disgrace the Super Bowl or make people, but there's bigger things that we should be worrying about right now.
That's my point. Okay, so basically what happens is a daughter.
It didn't fall in the water. A
daughter of one of the silversmiths that helped work on this for Tiffany and Company, which I didn't know this. I guess Tiffany and Company makes the Lombardi trophy, and they make a lot of this big sports leagues trophies. But one of the silversmiths who participated in the design and the making of this trophy is saying that this act of throwing the trophy between boats is somehow disgracing the trophy and disgracing her father's work. And my reaction, but now we've got multiple articles that have been written about it, and it's like, really, this is what we're gonna concern ourselves with? Is
watch as we piss off.
She's quoted in here saying, "I didn't sleep for the past 2 nights because of this. I was upset."
And I'm not trying to downplay the people who made it. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm sure it's very hard work. I'm sure it's something that they feel very, I don't know, I'm very proud of. It's a very beautiful trophy. But I think at the end of the day, it's a trophy.
It's a trophy. And these guys, it's not like they took the trophy and threw it in the water and let it sink, or they covered it in dirt and spit on it or something. They were having fun.
I was thinking of something is it hockey that has the actual cup?
Yeah, the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
It's not like they were, which I think Tiffany and Companies
makes that. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm sorry. I personally I know. Some people are gonna be like, well, I totally see where she's coming. I just don't.
There's much bigger things happening in the world right now that I could care less if Tom Brady threw a trophy.
Yeah, and I can't imagine losing 2 nights of sleep over someone tossing your father's.
Personally, I think it's you got an opportunity to get your name into an article and you took it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I saw and I was like,
offends.
How is this a headline? This is okay. All right, we're gonna devolve even more. We went from critical infrastructure failure to Lombardi Trophy outrage.
Which I would actually like to understand more of the electricity infrastructure and stuff, and I feel like that information needs to be brought to everyone's attention more, because people in our local area are being nasty.
Well, they pay their electricity
bill. I
bill.
understand that, but are you the dude that has to go out? Are you the dude or guy the girl or guy that has to go out onto the poles and work on those, when the power is actually out? It's not like they're just
yeah, people.
I don't care. I feel like the people who are working for the company are doing the best they can.
Yeah, we're defending. We're assaulting the critics, and then in the next sentence, we're like, that woman, she needs to find other things to worry about.
Well, but also I don't understand the significance of making the trophy, and I could see how that's a very in that line of work, for you to be asked to work on that. I'm sure that's a very big deal, and it took a lot of time. But I don't think that they're having fun. They're excited that they won. They're not throwing the trophy off of a building. They're not breaking
All right,
it.
I'm cutting you off. You're saying the same thing. You told me to do that last time.
But I don't like the way you said it just now. You embarrassed me.
I didn't know. Okay, I'll work on my delivery of that one. Okay, so we're going to devolve even more here in our next In the News segment article, the last one. This says, foodie who set off the world-famous TikTok feta pasta trend shares a strawberry twist on the classic. So would you try it? Okay, backstory. If you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok because it's awesome. There's lots of funny people on there. And you can actually learn some very useful things.
Yeah, Dad was talking about how he used a TikTok trick to hang pictures up on his wall.
Yeah, okay, so I advocated. Okay, so essentially on TikTok there's this trend going around now where people take a pan, they put cherry tomatoes in it. They
Is
put
that
a little
what
bit
you
of olive oil. Pan. You put it in a excuse me. You put it in a pan. You put your cherry tomatoes in there. You put your olive oil. You set your block of feta cheese in there. You bake it. Boil some noodles. Put your pasta in the pan. Mix it all up, and all of a sudden you've got a pasta dish for yourself. I thought this was interesting to share because we just recently put the TikTok trend to the test.
Yeah.
Only our culinary...
I don't like feta.
Yeah, so our culinary geniuses were like, okay, she doesn't like feta, so we'll just put the best cheese there is in it, and we'll do mozzarella. The problem with mozzarella, though, is that...
I think it's too soft.
It's too soft, it has a very low melting point, and we cooked it too long. And so it all the moisture got cooked out of it, and then it didn't want to actually disperse throughout the meal or throughout the dish.
It was still really good, though.
It was still super good. It just don't use mozzarella. If you're going to swap it out with something.
if you're going to use mozzarella, cook the tomatoes, cook the garlic and the tomatoes, and then put the mozzarella on top of the pasta.
That is our iteration number 2 of our culinary masterpiece.
I did more today because we had some cherry tomatoes that we needed to get rid of, and I put Parmesan cheese over the top because I just cooked the tomatoes and the garlic and then chopped it all up how you're supposed to, and then I put it over the pasta and put Parmesan cheese on top.
Delicious.
And it was great.
So next time we do it, we'll do it, but we'll put the mozz on last. We'll mix it into because I don't think melt. Anyways, so going back to what this lady shared today, if I can learn how to cut the video right. She shared basically the same thing, only she did strawberries. So look at this. She's got strawberries, and then she's got olive oil, a block of feta, and the same thing. She boiled some noodles and then stuck it in there. Can I play this?
It's going to take too long.
Yeah, man, it's loading, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it loads everything else, and then it's got to load the video.
Well,
that's why I don't like.
Anyways, it's just kind of interesting. I don't know. Would you want to eat? Oh, that's gonna be loud. Would you want to eat strawberries, olive oil, and feta cheese?
Well, I don't like feta, so no.
I don't know. This seems like one of those things and look how soft the strawberries get. Watch when she mixes this. It's turns into pudding.
It actually looks like a smoothie to me.
I don't know. I would try it, but I don't think it's gonna taste very good.
Because I was also influenced by another influencer that she eats strawberries and cottage cheese.
Ooh.
And I have always eaten
cottage
cheese.
That seems like a common thing. That seems like something.
Well, if that's a common thing, I don't know about it. I've only ever eaten tomatoes and cottage cheese with a lot of pepper. And it's really good.
Your culinary life.
It's really, really good. And so
Why can't you just
tried.
Be normal, like chicken nuggets and French fries?
That's 90% of my diet. So the other stuff that's weird is the other 10%. I live on Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
and the fact that we haven't been able to go to Chick-fil-A these past couple days has killed me a little bit.
Okay, this is a good segue because the big topic for this episode, we are talking about trapped at home with your family. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? And this is relevant for two reasons. One, because obviously there is a pandemic still ongoing, and some of us are still taking it seriously.
Yeah, being even more trapped in.
And then on top of that now, a large portion of the country is snowed in.
Yeah, it's not safe to drive on the roads. Like, just because yes, there's a pandemic going on, but I could still, like, get out of my house and, like, see sunshine.
We're kind of like back to the lockdown when the initial stages of the pandemic were happening.
I know, but I didn't feel this way then.
Okay, so you didn't answer the main question.
Today,
is it a blessing or is it a
I think
curse?
it is a blessing that me and you are able to stay home with our family and be safe.
Aw, babe.
I think that is a blessing.
It's a curse for me.
But I feel like today I had a moment where I wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to leave for a little bit.
Where were you going to go?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is not open.
No, they are open. It's just the roads.
Your face is very pretty, but
I'm not meaning to look at. I'm just looking at the screen in general. I'm not looking at my face. I'm looking at your face. I'm looking at my face. I'm looking at Rowan behind it. Like, okay, I'll look over here. Is this better?
That's not a good way to have a conversation.
Chick-fil-A is open. It's just I've realized now that I have used Chick-fil-A as the escape in the day. Like, if I'm needing...
I tell you what, if you had to pick an escape, that's a pretty damn good...
I know, because then I get the joy of, like, eating French fries, and even sometimes I'll order myself, like, a small shake to drink on the ride home. Just enjoy a little me time before I come back in the house.
Share how many times Cal asked you whether he could get Chick-fil-A.
3 times. That child is more obsessed with Chick-fil-A than I am.
You've created little monsters, and you've turned Kyler into a little toy monster because he asked for toys one time, and the toys came. And so now
it's the way he asked was so cute, and it took Stevan like 30 minutes to figure out what he was even talking about. And I realized what he was talking about, and then he was like, please. Like, I mean, he was so stinking cute. And so I decided to go ahead and get them.
Now he's making requests all the time.
Asking.
I want a Jack Skeleton toy.
He wants one that talks.
Oogie Boogie.
He wants the whole cast, because he wants Dr. Frankenstein as well. But he wants a Jack Skeleton that talks. And I'm like, I don't think there is a Jack Skeleton that
share
talks.
some more nuances about navigating.
I burped.
Share some more nuanced strategies about how you've navigated life with a work-from-home husband, 2 little kids, and not a lot of places to go.
I think you going to the garage has actually helped. Because I have a routine. Like, it's just on the days where I'm like wanting to get stuff done. I have a routine of how I do things, and our place is not very big. And so when you're here, you're hyper focused on what Rowan's doing because you're you're trying to work and like.
So what you're saying is because the grumpy man went out to the garage,
it just adds to the stress of everything because I'm like, I have grown, like, I'm used to what Rowan does now. Like, I am used to it, and most of it doesn't bother me anymore because he's not really doing a whole lot. But, like, there's certain things that Rowan does that just sets you off.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
And you're annoyed by
so
it.
fed up
And
with
then
dogs.
I get annoyed by it because I feel like I have to be more on of watching Rowan to make sure he doesn't do those things to not annoy you so that you're not barking at him. And then I'm like, it's just like another aspect.
I did not realize I was such a drain on your
That's
mental.
not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's just another added thing on top of, like, really the biggest thing that drives me up the wall is Cal asking for food every 30 seconds.
Yeah, Cal asks for food every 30 seconds, or he asks if I'm off work every 30 seconds.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that I deprive my child of food. I get up and make him food every single time.
Because he's always hungry.
But it's in those moments where I just get done all cleaning up and doing all that stuff, and I sit down to, like, play Animal Crossing or do something for me, and he's like, Hey mom, I'm hungry. But it's not even like him telling me what he wants. It's just, I'm hungry. Now you tell me what you can do, and I'll tell you which one I want.
Well, I'm really glad that your strategy for navigating life at home has been just to banish me to the garage.
That's not
what
I meant.
It's a very effective strategy.
I'm just saying it has helped a little bit.
Okay, so my opinion on this is it's definitely a blessing, but I think it is very eye-opening, the fact that there is such a thing as too much time together. And not in a bad way. It's just like when not only for us, but for our kids, like when we are just kind of like on top of each other every day, all the time, even the things that we sometimes are the most fond of each other can become grating.
Yeah.
Can become and then you layer on top of that like just all the different moods that you have throughout your day. It's like different things strike you differently at different times, and it's like the natural rhythms of life of coming and going and having activities and going and doing things. They largely create a lot of space, or you don't have to create space because just the natural rhythm of life creates that space for each other. And so we've been living in this weird bizarro world where it's like there is no space. So you kind of have to be intentional about it. You have to like, okay, I'm going to take a couple hours and just not engage in this right now because it's not a realistic expectation to put on yourself that because you are here, because that's just where you should be. There's nowhere else you can go. That doesn't mean then all of a sudden you should hold yourself to some unrealistic standard that you should be able to engage with your family at all times and at all hours of the day whenever they need you to, at all their beck and call. Because that's like... Well,
I mean, it's just along the lines of like, everybody needs to have a break at some point.
You do.
Like, and I feel like I've become a little bit more amped the past couple weeks, past couple months or so, about certain things, is because like not you in particular, but it's just it's an added thing. There's another person in the house trying to build his routines, and then Cal's no longer napping, so I don't get like the 2-hour stretch of like children not pawing at me and asking for a million gazillion things all day long. And I mean, like, but he's been okay.
The naps things is a hard thing for you.
Yeah, because that was like my break in the middle of the day. I could do whatever I wanted. I could take a nap myself if I wanted.
You're in your final months and years of it, and then it's gonna be gone.
I know, and that's why I almost hate talking about it, because that's what people say, and I know that, and I appreciate that I am able to be home with my children, but that doesn't mean that I don't need a break.
It's hard to be on all the time for
days.
For anything, whether that be work.
I know, but it is a conversation that like a lot of people feel uncomfortable talking about. Because 100%. It makes them, because as soon as you open your mouth and say it, immediately everyone's like, cherish it. Cherish that time.
You can't. I mean, I like I just said, I think it's a blessing that we're able to have more than enough time together, right?
Yeah.
But I think that you have to have that self-awareness to say, okay, to make the time that I spend with my family of higher quality, it might be necessary at times to take a step back.
Yeah.
It may be necessary to stop, to not play video games with Cal at every minute of every day, every time he asks.
Yeah.
And it may be necessary for me to take time out to work on something I want to work on, separate from what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Because that feeds you in a different way than your family feeds you.
Well, I have this big, long list of shows that I've been trying to, like, chip away at, of, like, shows that I actually enjoy watching. And the TV's either child things all day long. So, like, there's only a finite amount of time of where I'm allowed to do things that like I want to do.
They need to come up with a TV that somehow like detects that children are in the room and is able to apply some sort of mask that only children can see. And then adults...
That's way too complicated.
And then adults can view what they want to view and hear what they want to view, but children
I'm
see
sure a lot
something.
of people would be like, it's your phone or an iPad, which I get, but...
You're still an old elder millennial who's stuck on the TV.
I am not an elder millennial.
You're definitely not in the young one.
I would say I'm in the middle tier. I'm not an elder.
Yeah, because it goes from 95 to like 81 or something like that. So you're on. I guess you're on.
I
the
would
bottom
be in
third.
the middle half of millennials. It's just I'm not stuck on the TV. It's just I don't think, oh, I'm gonna go get my iPad. Like I just don't think like that.
You should.
But I have been training. I
devices.
have been training the kids that it's like you can only be on one device at a time. Like you can't have your iPad up watching that and watching the TV.
You mean like I do?
Yeah, it's not okay. Talking about conserving energy.
I think we've talked about this before, haven't we?
Dude.
I know with our lights on.
Taking everyone's
our lights
energy.
are on. Our podcast is going. The computers.
Yeah, this is probably not a good idea.
We're sorry, everyone, if you're...
I have, like, unplugged everything. I've unplugged everything. I've been a Nazi about the lights. And I'm sure a lot of people... Like, I was talking to my mom about, like...
We're outside of peak hour consumption.
No, we're in...
Oh, are we really?
Yeah.
Well, we better wrap this up.
Or wait, it's like... Yeah, we're, like, right in the middle of it. It's like 6 to 10.
I don't want another rolling blackout.
They said they might have to do more tomorrow.
I figured we could keep our themes going for the year, our segments going for the year, and I thought we could. Okay. Oh, did you have anything else you wanted to share about how to navigate being trapped in the house with your family?
I'm saying even just going outside and driving in the car helps.
Okay,
taking a moment for yourself.
Okay, so I'll recap for everyone just so they're aware of the best strategies that the Freeborn household is implementing. 1. Send the grumpiest member of your family into the garage for long, extended periods of time. Number 2.
You go out there for yourself.
What?
Because it's too loud in here. You can't do your calls and stuff.
Yeah, I know. And I really don't want to, like, unhook my personal computer and then rehook my work. I don't like that. That's just a pain in the butt. So I'd rather sit in the cold and do work out there. So that's step number 1.
Hey, on Spring, can you expense a heater?
A portable heater for me? Step number 2 is find a Chick-fil-A when you can safely drive to one.
Yeah.
Or
whatever your escape is.
Yeah. Okay, if
it's Wendy's, like wherever is your paradise.
And
just drive in the car.
Oh, and then mine was just recognize that it's okay not to expect yourself to like engage at 100%
to be on
all the time for everyone. Like it's okay to like I have a bad habit of like being like I have to be on 100% from the time the kids wake up to the time the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
And that's just unrealistic, especially
and it's
now.
normally Kelsey that's like, okay, take a moment.
Especially now, given that everyone's here the whole day, all the time, no matter what. So there's just that need is not the same way it was maybe when I actually left the house and was away from.
But also, Kyler now plays in his own room now, which that has been a task that we've been trying to get done for like the past year, is for them to actually go into their room and play.
Use their own room for their playtime.
We put all the toys in there.
We moved the kids into the largest.
We switched rooms, gave them the largest room so that they could have their toys and a TV in their room, and they still bring it all out.
We've created monsters where our family is basically needs to be like hip to hip at all times, no matter what.
I know.
And then the pandemic happened, and so now we literally are hip to hip all time. I don't know. It's just like you got to be very intentional.
We're gonna like whenever all this is starting to wear down and we start to be able to like go places again. Kyler's gonna be like, I hate this.
He's gonna be like, "There's a world outside of our house."
Well, I mean, he's already an introvert, and like the biggest, like this past year has like exploded for him language wise and play and all that type of stuff. And he's gonna be like, "You want me to play with other people that are not my family?" Like he's just not gonna get it. Cal's ready for it.
We need to get them vaccinations. Okay, so let's wrap up with our last segment. We did this on the last episode. This is called Something That Lives in Your Head Rent-Free, which is...
I know, but you keep... that lives in your head rent-free.
That lives in your head rent-free.
No, I know, but it's your head, not my head.
Okay, that lives... Okay. That lives in one of our heads rent-free. Jeez, you sound like me at work, like when I'm talking to people about like, no, your logic statement does not say that. Your logic statement says, if do this, then that. And they're like, well, why is it not doing this other thing? And I'm like, because that's not what you said. You need to explicitly state. Okay, so I'm explicitly stating that this is something that lives in Steven's head rent-free. Do you have something to offer too? We can pull something up.
No, this actually kind of does live in my head rent-free because you and Lane have watched it and say it so many times.
Okay, so
that if I hear anybody say this statement, I'm immediately thinking of it.
I like to explain the backstory of lives in your head rent-free because it makes me seem hip. Lives in your head rent-free is
hip? Yeah. This is a pretty old...
Oh, is it really?
Video.
No, the lives in your head rent-free thing.
Oh.
That's like something kids say on TikTok.
I was going to say, the video you're getting ready to show is a pretty old...
Where was I going? Oh, I was going to say, okay, the idea here is basically lives in your head rent-free just means something that's super, super funny or something that you super appreciate that you just like randomly and occasionally ruminate on and you're totally cool with it. Okay, so this video came to my attention a long time ago. I honestly don't know when this happened, but this is a clip of Bill O'Reilly sometime in it looks like the early 90s or maybe late 90s. I don't know.
No, I would say 2000s.
Okay, maybe then. Okay. But one of my friends in high school brought this to my attention. And it's basically a clip of him, and you may know of this, but if you haven't looked it up, YouTube Do It Live, Bill O'Reilly, and it's like a 1.5-minute long clip, and basically it's like Bill O'Reilly behind the scenes, like somebody he's trying to produce whatever television show it is, and there's some kind of technical malfunction, and he just loses it. So I'm gonna play it. I honestly don't know if you get in trouble for playing these things on podcasts, but it's really funny.
Great.
It's really funny.
We're gonna go into YouTube jail.
Well, I've already been sent a notice from the federal government with my name on it.
What are you talking about?
Remember when I got my drone seized?
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
The thing I got in the mail literally said, "The United States of America versus Steven Freeborn." Okay, that's a story.
That was actually a really fucking scary thing, okay?
Yes, so, okay, so we'll cover that story on another podcast. But, okay, so I'm going to play this.
This says Uncut 2011.
Hey. Oh, Uncut 2011? Okay. I think it was before then, though. I don't think this is 2011.
No, I don't think it's 2011.
All right, I'm going to play it.
Okay, I don't know what. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. Okay, but
we are gonna do Sting, yeah.
Yeah, I can't read it. There's no words on it. Okay.
I love this.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out. Sting is gonna do it's a video. Sting video.
The poor technical guy.
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean?
It means to play you out. I would have just started talking slower.
He's like, to end the show?
That's tomorrow, and that is up.
He's getting so frustrated.
See, this one says 2008.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay.
We'll do it live.
Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
I don't understand why he couldn't just read what it said.
Bill O'Reilly, thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
he
does it
He
perfect.
just nails it. He like on the just. Oh my god!
What was he saying then? Did they have that?
No, but I think he was cussing and getting irate. I don't. Okay, so that's one of those videos that it ruminate.
Whenever I hear anything that sounds like "do it live," like if the statement sounds like that, I'm immediately thinking, "We'll do it live."
And there's times where I'll just randomly say it to my brother, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Lane gets very animated whenever he does it. Like, he looks like Bill O'Reilly freaking out.
I know. You've got to have things like that, that you can just think about, bring a smile to your face.
I don't feel like I have things.
You don't have those? Oh, I think about stuff from The Office a lot. I think about this. Well, the Tom Segura thing that we talked about last episode. Okay, so challenge to you then.
Think about things like that.
Okay, challenge to you then is...
It's normally our children, like the funny things that they do. Like the little skeleton video that Kyler does, that I randomly think of that, and that makes me laugh.
Well, that's good.
A lot.
Something that lives in your head rent-free. Gotta have them. All right, anything we'd like to leave the audience with before we wrap up?
We'll do it live.
I'll write it and we'll do it live. All right. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We were a little all over the place, but that's what you get when you don't prepare real well. And
we're always all over the place.
A little bit ranty.
Like, you keep trying to make it a little bit more organized by putting this stuff in there, but it's...
I want to seem somewhat...
When you have this...
You don't even need to be prepared.
Nope. Chaos is coming. Just buckle in and hope it's funny.
Or extremely weird and awkward.
I am. 100%.
All right.
But I've now embraced it.
So, two things. I have two requests if you're listening. One, if you like the kind of segmenty format that we're doing, please let us know. I think we just going to keep experimenting with it a little bit. And then two, if you just have any general feedback about things we should talk about or things we should mention or stuff you'd like to hear our opinions on, send us messages. The best place to find us is on Instagram. Kelsey is at kfreeborn412 and I'm at steven.freeborn. We'd love to hear from you. But otherwise, we hope you guys are staying warm, depending on wherever you are, or maybe cold, depending on if you're closer to the equator. Don't get the COVID. Wear a mask. And then we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you always throw in that awkward, the pause.
Because for a second I'm like, what do I say? What have I said last time?
To play us out.
We'll do it live.
What does that mean? To end the show?
I'll write it. We'll do it live.
All right, I got to get her off the camera because you're getting awkward.